Hey everyone, this is the Average Joe, and apparently My Hero Academia has taken over my channel now because y'all won't watch anything else. I've won, but at what cost? Oh well, on to today's topic. If there's anything that has fascinated me most about analyzing fiction, it's the thought of characters from different universes collaborating and maybe even battling it out. My Hero Academia in particular is fascinating to think about because of its blend of Eastern and Western principles and philosophy. The characters are written to be so diverse and interesting that I really want to see some of them visit the mainline universes of our American heroes. We'll talk about Marvel next week, but for now, here's my top 5 My Hero Academia DC collaborations I want to see. Number 5. All Might vs. Superman. This feels like a no-brainer to me. In terms of actual fighting, there would be no contest. Superman's destroyed dimensions, All Might's maybe continental level with a stretch. But as characters, it would be interesting to see how they work off of each other. Toshinori is trying to be the one force that holds up all of society, and Clark wants to handle all the dangerous situations by himself. They both carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, but can also be very down-to-earth when not putting on the face for the public. The two of them could really rub off each other well, and maybe learn a bit from seeing the other's perspective. The symbol of peace and the symbol of hope. Number 4. Damian Wayne vs. Katsuki Bakugo. Perfect foils. And to me, it just gets better the more you think about it. Both characters are brash, temperamental, and violent. But this is actually one situation where Bakugo will have to be the mature one. Damian as a character just seems perfectly suited to challenge Bakugo on nearly all fronts. Bakugo believes success to be something you're innately born with, and people without powers are objectively inferior to those around them. Damian gets by on his training and skill, and spends his time beating superhuman foes with his bare hands, and occasionally swords. Bakugo constantly talks about how he's going to kill somebody, but seeing a hero who is more than willing to actually get his hands dirty may actually push Bakugo into doing the right thing. It's not often that dear old Kacchan is the voice of reason, but in this case I think he could work well off of Damian. Plus, if Robin and King Explosion Murder are partners in crime, there's a good chance their caretakers are going to fall in tow. More on that later. Number 3. Hawks vs. Flash. While My Hero doesn't have a speedster, per se, the closest in personality seems to be the number 2 hero. Both characters are seemingly carefree, easygoing types who hide their more calculative approach to handling villains. But the differences starts to appear when you see how they use that intelligence. Hawks was an So once those differences show themselves at a time of crisis, I think it would be interesting to see how they feel about each other once the masks are removed, both literally and philosophically. Number 2. Joker and Harley vs. Twice and Toga. First and probably only big villain meeting of the list. What makes this idea interesting to me is how the two are going to hate each other rather than work together. At his core, Twice is not a bad person. He's a normal guy pushed into a bad situation by a world that doesn't care about him. Joker's got a bit of knowledge on how to handle split personalities, remember how often he partners with Two-Face, so he's probably just gonna manipulate Twice for his cloning quirk and not much else. And let me tell you, if there's anything more terrifying than a murder clown running around, it's a whole bunch of them. But the thing I have to wonder, how would Harley and Toga get along? Next to Himiko, Quinzel might as well be Mother Teresa. But when Harley sees how sadistic and obsessive Toga is, she might actually see a dark mirror of her own love and be inspired to leave the Joker. Or she'll get jealous when Toga inevitably falls for him as well, and they get into a fight. Just depends on how the writer's feeling, and either one is worth listening to. Number 1. Eraserhead and Present Mike vs. Batman and Black Canary. Of course, Batman and Aizawa share a lot of similarities, focused more on surprise and mystery to get the jump on their enemies. Clearly both of them are students of ninjutsu, which will make them work together well on stealth missions, and they both hide a certain soft spot for teaching children. On the flip side, Mike and Canary might not bounce off each other as well in chemistry, but I could just see them annoying the other two with a screaming match, which is why they're listed here as well. Canary is occasionally known to have feelings for Bruce, and Mike might feel the same for Aizawa depending on which part of the fandom you ask. So that's another way they can relate to each other, in some small way. Plus, both teams can learn a bit from each other. Aizawa will be curious as to how Batman disappears into thin air. Bruce will certainly want to study Eraser's quirk, or at least figure out how the scarf works. Mike can give Canary some tips on how to amplify her voice even further. Maybe Canary could show Mike a few of her fighting moves. Who knows how these four will work off each other. And that about wraps it up on my end. Come back in 2 weeks when we discuss the flip side in the Marvel Universe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!